were a lot of fans of Project X inside Retro Studios, right? I think a lot of the artists in particular looked at Project X and said, this is a game that's going to allow us to create an incredible amount of great art, right? And yes, that was absolutely true. Had it been a solid game design, that could have happened. But what actually happened on Project X, there were a lot of things going on inside Retro at the time. There were a lot of developers, Alec and designers tasked with finishing up Metroid Prime trilogy, so that took away a lot of resources. It was me and one other engineer working on Project X. The other engineer was Reese Lewis. And the design docs, so it was a real shock to me. Project X was a very, very frustrating experience for me because, you know, I have a lot of design skills, right? I'm a multi-class character, engineering and game design, right? I've done a lot of both. And so when a design needs work, that's a problem for me, right? If a designer comes to me with a good design, hands me a design document and says, here's what I want you to code, put a couple months of your life into this, and it's a good thing, and we'll iterate to make it better, that's cool, right? But when they come to me with a design that is not even coherent, like it doesn't even make sense, and it's like, it's not even fun, like it's not even pointing to anything that could conceivably be fun, right? And like, the thing that makes the most sense is you iterate on that design document, right? You run it past the designers. You know, while it's just 3, 4, 5 pages of text in this very small design document, you polish that before you waste anyone else's time and resources on it, right? And don't ask engineers to just, you know, take something almost unintelligible and turn it into, you know, iterate it into something that's marginally fun and marginally playable, right? It's just, it was a very frustrating experience because it was like I had just gotten done these 2 Metroid games, you know, Prime 2 and Prime 3, and it was a very professional experience, right? Very solid team. Everybody worked well together. The design was solid. You never had people asking each other, gosh, what's a Metroid game? Is it, you know, first person or third person? Is it an RPG? Is it a strategy game? No, everybody knows what a Metroid Prime game is. So it was all just a question of figuring out the details of, you know, each location, each encounter, and so on. Whereas this was something that just didn't point to anything that made any sense at all. And I tried on several occasions to very diplomatically raise the red flag and say, guys, this is a problem. We need to fix this design. What I didn't realize, and unfortunately, I did not get any traction. My warnings were completely ignored, and Project X was ultimately canceled. And I was happy that, honestly, I was happy that it was canceled because, you know, it was an opportunity for Retro to do something better, something that really had a chance to succeed. Yeah.
But you know the design document that you're talking about. How long is that? How long is that document, or how long should that document be?
It was maybe a 5-page document.
Right. Okay.
You know, which not that big. It wasn't like they were some, you know, mountainous thing. But it was 5 pages of just like things that clearly did not work together, had basic design flaws in them. And part of what I didn't realize at the time was that Mark Pacini was already planning to go and start Armature Studio. He left like a week or 2 before I did. Jack Matthews, the principal engineer, Mark Pacini, the design lead, and Todd Keller, the art lead, you know, all ended up leaving like a week before I did to go start Armature Studio because at the time they had a deal with Electronic Arts. And so I think a big part of what was happening was that when I was raising the red flag, there was just no motivation for him at the time to take those concerns seriously and, you know, fix this project. And it's a tragedy because it was an opportunity, if it had been well executed, for Retro to really prove to Nintendo that it did have the chops to take more ownership of a design from scratch. But I think it ended up doing the opposite.